Welcome to Playing with Fire, where we guide you and we cover the hottest trends in the industry so that you can really achieve financial independence, retire early. You're with me, your host, Olivia Higgins, and we're here in our Moomoo Singapore studio for another Playing with Fire live. So welcome, everyone. Now, if you want to find out what we're covering for this episode, stay tuned. We're here in our Moomoo Singapore studio. Once again, I'm Olivia Higgins and you're on the show Playing with Fire. Now, today is really education, but this show is exclusively crafted for our YouTube and in-app community members. So wherever you're tuning in from, remember, it's all about questions, right? So type in your questions, and during the second half of the show, we're going to have a talk show style. It's really a casual chat with our expert today that we've invited on Playing with Fire. So with me, for today's Playing with Fire series, we would like to invite equity dealer from Moomoo Singapore, to Jun Chong. Hi, Jun Chong.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Olivia. Hi.
Welcome to the show. First time on the show.
Yes, first time on Playing with Fire.
Yes, so you've seen him in the live webinars. We do a lot of series together, and of course, Investing Explained. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll definitely have to check out the playlist of Investing Explained on our YouTube channel. Now, back to the topic of today, learning to invest smarter. Now, we hear the term investing smarter, invest smarter. What does smarter mean in terms of investing?
So, investing smarter, and then the term smarter itself would be actually to use all of these different tools available for all of our users to actually make the most informed decision before you actually execute your trade. So that, of course, trading, there can be ups and downs. So using these tools, investing smarter gives you a higher probability of making profits.
More sophistication in terms of the tools and using technology really to power these tools so that people can really execute their trades in a better way,
correct,
right?
That's correct.
That's great. Now, Juncheong, for those who don't know you, okay, I know you've seen him a lot in MooFest, in all the other road shows that we have, and you know, if you were at MooFest, I'm sure you remember the different stages that we had. We had main stage, side stage, and of course Juncheong was also leading some of the seminars for that. Now, Juncheong, tell us about yourself, just a little bit of what you do, and also what kind of topics do you usually delve into?
Okay, so I guess I'll introduce myself. Hi everyone, my name is Jun Chong. I'm part of the Moomoo dealing team itself. I guess I've spoken to a lot of our users through all these different road shows, and of course our users also have contacted us through our phone hotline as well as through emails. So really nice to see everyone. A lot of what I do day to day, I guess, very typical of a dealing job, but things that I talk about, we have a previous webinar, so it's a lot about options, and these days we have launched new products such as option strategies. So these are the things that I work a lot more these days.
I love it. Now, you deal with a lot of people on the ground, and you really face clients in person, right? Not just on the phone, of course.
Yes.
Your phone is blowing up all the time. But at these events, you always get to talk to people and have the opportunity to discuss, you know, some of their concerns and what they're looking forward to. Now, could you perhaps share a little bit on the Mumu community and some of the topics and concerns, or, you know, any sort of opportunities that you chat about at these events?
I guess the great thing about our Mumu app is actually we have a diverse group of users. So even for users who are just starting out, the new investors as well as the sophisticated investors. So we have features and to cater to all of these investors, and it's really good that when I do meet a lot of these clients, be it from those who are just starting out or to the more sophisticated ones, they give us a lot of, I would say, feedback on how we can actually improve their user experience.
Yes.
So through all of these different channels that we have with our users, we actually do take their feedback a lot, and then we do also improve on the app itself. on their feedback.
Yeah, the word feedback, we always get that. And I know the in-app community particularly, you guys are very active in also giving your thoughts and being very vocal, right, of what you want to see, what is next. And, you know, for example, even fractional shares that was just launched, that was also something that the community kept talking about, right?
That's correct.
Is there any other example of how perhaps the product teams behind the app, how do they gather such information? And also, how do they, you know, use the capacity of R&D within our company to execute what the community wants to know about?
So, of course, one of the ways feedback come to us is, of course, through us or even our client service team, as well as through the app itself. I think there's a lot of communities within the app, so there's a lot of discussion, etc. So, you mentioned one of the first features that actually came out was the fractional share. And then that was, I think, about a little 2 months back. And then recently, for our users, this has been a feature that is really a lot of users have been asking for it, and that would be the rolling feature for the option. So right now, our users can actually roll your position to a later date with our new rolling feature, and this was a feature really widely loved by a lot of our users itself. So this has been launched for them. And then on the team of our research and development team, I think for those who actually did join us on the MooFest, you have heard our CEO, Mr. Gavin Chia. He did talk a lot about our company. And you'll be pleased to know that on a yearly basis, there was about 8,500 different product improvements. And about more than 150 million US dollars in investment into this R&D, and with nearly, I think, more than 60% of the staff being directly or indirectly involved in this research and development. So a lot of this, what we do actually taking all this feedback and then give it back to our users.
So there's always this feedback loop going on, right? Like a positive one where, you know, the information is constantly being fed back to the teams working on it. And because on a global basis, beyond Singapore, we also have so many other offices around the world. And what is great is also just, you know, being able to be interconnected.
Yes, that's correct.
So I'm glad you shared that, because some of them did miss MooFest. So well, if you do want to check out some highlights, you can check out the YouTube channel for some of the best parts of that. Anyway, coming back to the topic of discussion. So it's always about improving, about learning, right? New progressions. I mean, is there anything else we can look forward to in the upcoming months as, you know, we proceed into the last 2 months, 3 months?
Yes, there's a lot of new features that will be coming out. All of these features that will come out are really features that our users have actually really feedback to us, and I think our users will be happy to know that a lot of them do trade this index options itself. I don't have a definite timeline for everyone, but it will be coming, and if it do come, I will definitely let our users know as well. So that's one of this feature that will be coming soon.
Great stuff. Now, learning to invest smarter. I know when you talk about the new rollouts of different products, different features, it's coming at such a great speed sometimes, right? You know, 1 minute it's this version, and the next minute it's improved, right? Which is a great thing, but it happens quite fast. Now, as an investor on the app, right, what is some of the, you know, advice or potential strategies people can use to kind of learn to adapt so quickly to the changes? You know, like if I find out there is a new opportunity or a new tool that I can use, you know, where can I go to learn about it? Where can I go to immediately try to adapt this information to my current strategy?
Okay. So of course, I think our users will know that our app has a lot of minor and major updates very frequently. I would say maybe about every 2 to 3 weeks you do see an update, be it on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.
That's amazing.
Yes, so it updates really frequently, and I understand that some users may not be able to keep track of these updates. And one of the things I notice when speaking to a lot of clients, they do say that it's they do not get the automatic updates
Right.
So they do actually have to go to the App Store itself. Well, one of the things that I do personally myself
a lot
is
of apps are like that, right?
correct. Every Monday I'll just go into my App Store and then I just search on Mumu.
Yeah.
And then
or Google Play, right?
Or Google Play or Google Play Store, and
Depending
then just
which side you're on.
depending on if you're using an Android phone or the Apple phone,
Yeah.
and then just go to it and then search on Mumu, and then if there's an update, just click on update, and then within the update itself, you get to see what are the changes, be it the minor or the major ones.
So they can actually track it.
Yeah,
right?
they can actually
within the details.
Yes, they can actually see it, and then of course there's a lot of changes. I think for those who are actually been in Mumu since last year, you have known that your account type previously was called a US margin account, Hong Kong margin account, and then now it's all consolidated into this universal account. This was one of the big changes for a lot of clients. So of course these changes, these are things that they can use to actually help them invest smarter, because right now they do not always have to consistently do a conversion to actually do their trades.
Yeah.
So these are updates and feedbacks that we get from these clients, and then we improve the overall user experience for them.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, so definitely if you missed out some of the key pointers, we've got the replay of this show on in-app and also YouTube, so don't worry about that information, okay? Now, the next question I have for you is, we went on about how we gather the information, how things are updated so quick, how much Moomoo Singapore and Mumu in general has invested into R&D and also, developing the product as a fintech company. But, just for the user experience, because that was one word that you brought up at the end, what would you say is what are the learning points from how you deal with clients day to day?
I think on a day-to-day basis, of course, we do have clients who have not used our Mumu app, and they are actually looking to start their journey with Mumu. And
start your journey.
Yeah, start your journey. And it may not be for some it might be complicated at the start. I think for everyone that started out
like
at the first time,
overwhelming, because there's so much you can do.
There's so much you can do, and then you can't navigate properly on where this particular function or features that you already want it, but you do not know where to find it. So of course, there's a lot of different tutorials. You can also check out our YouTube link with Investing Explains with Olivia.
Yes.
And then these are all different shows and tutorials you can actually use to navigate the app better. Of course, we understand that the app has changed constantly. So we, together with Olivia, the show has also been constantly being updated.
Yes.
So this is where a lot of users can actually find out. And also our amazing customer service team as well. So that you can also always contact them or email them to actually find out, okay, for instance, let's say I have a particular feature. I think just today I have a client that wanted to find out how he can actually start on this option trading. So you can guide and navigate, okay, this is where you can actually find where options are, and then you can actually start your journey with Mumu from there.
I know you also did Options Masterclass for our CAB users who are tuning in right now. It's a CAB exclusive. And if you don't know what that is, it's the Customer Advisory Board, which is a group that we also have on Telegram. So if you do want to find out how you can enter that, the teams will contact you if you're eligible to be a part of that group. But really, I think, Juncheong, you highlighted, just what you also consider your niche. But, you mentioned options as well. We covered so many episodes on this. For those who are interested in options, where can they learn to invest smarter within this space?
So, of course, there are a lot of different tutorials that we do have. For our clients, our users, you can also actually, on the app itself, at the bottom, there's this Discover tab, and then you can click on Learn. This is where actually, for those who are just starting out, even to more users that are more intermediate, you can actually use all of these courses that we do have available for them to actually learn more about these different tools and features that we have. So this is where they can start actually. Of course, the next way some of our users do use is the community forum that we have. So for instance, if you're interested in a particular counter, let's say Apple for instance, you can click on Apple and then click on comments. This is actually where you can access the community page, where you can actually be able to communicate and connect with our 20 million strong users worldwide for everyone that is talking about this counter Apple itself.
20 million?
Yes, 20 million users worldwide.
Ooh, and active members within that community. I know that's also a really high number, right, in Singapore?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's great. I value community so much, and also education. So, I mean, not just a personal value, but also translating back to our audience, always tuning in. We always lead with the credible sources, the right knowledge, and also, bringing on experts onto the show and making sure that we are a bridge for everyone tuning in. And that's something we pride ourselves upon. So really glad to always have you on as well. But I'm also interested, Juncheong, now at this point, before we take in any questions. Now, if you have any more questions, please type it through. I'm going to pick out some of the questions to ask Juncheong. Ask anything, and I will pick the questions. Juncheong. Now, Juncheong, in terms of your journey in Moomoo Singapore, how did you start? If someone wants to join the company or within finance, let's say a fresh graduate, looking to also do what you do, what is your advice for them within finance? What got you into your position, and what interests you in general?
My journey with Mumu has been really wow. So I think I joined Mumu about a year and a half ago, and I from the time I joined Mumu until now, I've seen the app really change a lot, with a lot of features and different products available for all of our users over this 1.5 years. So I guess the finance community itself, it's getting larger and larger.
Yes.
And especially with more tools and more platforms available for everyone. The financial, financial literacy within Singapore itself, it's also gaining traction. There are more and more, of course, we call them financial influencers. So these are also getting bigger these days.
I mean, you're on the way to becoming one.
That's in a way that's true as well. So yeah, so this is all of these are getting bigger. So I guess a lot of people can use all of these different tools and different tutorials, videos to actually enhance themselves to learn more about this whole financial journey. And as well as, of course, this show is playing with fire.
Yes.
Fire, financial independence,
retire early.
This has also been gaining traction. So
absolutely, that was the inspiration for the show.
That's why. So a lot of younger people are actually really into fire these days. So I guess for those who are starting out, study hard.
Study hard, know your stuff, and make sure that you do your proper research. Everyone says
that's the most important thing. Do the proper research before you execute your first trade. I guess it's easy to be, it's easy to be influenced by all this really easy money, fast money. But if you do your own due diligence, do your own research, and then use different tools to actually invest smarter before making your first trade itself.
Yeah, learning is a journey, and we're always learning the ups and downs of that, and being able to learn from our mistakes and really, develop that resilience. We talk about resilience within finance as well, right? So, depending on the market, it's getting even more uncertain right now, especially with the recent revelations with the wars happening and the different conflicts. Now a lot of the users also ask, in terms of their own personal fire goals, with the uncertainty we're being surrounded with, how can they continue to practice caution, and how is Moomoo Singapore really guiding them through these times?
So of course, with all these uncertain times, as well as of course this whole interest rate that it's likely to be higher for longer, and this will actually impact a lot of this whole economic situation, including those who are heavily invested into equities. So one of the ways a lot of these users and investors can look into is to actually hedge your portfolio, or even in a way protect your portfolio. One of the ways that I tend to advocate there's the use of options to act as an insurance actually to protect your portfolio, hedge against your portfolio. Another way is, of course, these days we know that the interest rates are really high. So you can look into the really lesser risk products like the Singapore savings bond or even the T-bills itself. They have really high rates right now. Or even to money market instruments
the
that
Singapore
we have.
T-bill, for example, hit a high since January this year. So
it's over 4% for the 6 months.
Absolutely.
And then the Singapore savings bond, it's also at 3.3 over percent. And then of course, over at Mumu itself, we do have our cash plus products for our users. So for those who are looking to park your cash or you look for the best opportunity, your idle cash can actually earn potential returns as well.
So Cash Plus is the name of it, right? The name of the product. But correct. What is it exactly for those who don't know?
So it is a money market instrument. So for those who have
under funds, yeah?
Yeah, under funds. So for those who have Singapore dollars, you will be invested into the Fullerton SGD cash fund itself. And then for the US dollar, it will be the CSOP USD money market fund. So these are two funds that our users can actually park their idle cash in and earn potential returns while they are waiting for the best time to enter the market.
So like a potential safe haven at the moment.
Yes, correct.
Before you decide what's next
for
yourself.
Decide what's next, correct.
Okay, so these are just possible ways, right?
Yes, these are just possible ways that investors can look to park their money because depending on each investor's risk profile, for those who are more risk averse, you look into all these less riskier products, even to high yield savings accounts, or even to fixed deposits. So of course, the other end of the spectrum, those who are more who like to take on more risks, of course, they can take into different products themselves. So it really depends on each individual and what their risk tolerance is and what financial goals they are actually aiming for as well.
Right. There are other instruments on there as well because there's just so much on the app that you can explore. So I really recommend everyone after this Playing with Fire episode to really do more research on what else you can do. I personally love the learn feature, so I just love learning and just, like a podcast when you're commuting or if you're reading something, right? You can also learn new, different strategies or take modules on the app. There's just so much you can do, and I love that because it's a whole community. But what other instruments do we also offer? Because I know people are also interested in, for example, the DLCs, the daily leverage certificates.
Oh, yes. So within the Mumu app itself, firstly, I would say we have, for Moomoo Singapore users, 4 key markets. So Singapore, Hong Kong, and then via Hong Kong Connect, China A shares, as well as the US market. So these are the 4 markets. And then for the products itself, our users can actually, of course, invest in equities like stocks and ETF. And then there's options. And then also on the Singapore side, there's DLCs and then all the warrants. And then, of course, we have also launched the leverage FX products. So our clients can also trade on the LFX products as well as futures. So these are, of course, with the ongoing economic uncertainty, there's a lot of talks about oil prices, etc.
Yes.
So
particularly
our users also can also trade future contracts in our platform itself. Of course, there are a lot more products, including funds, all the different fund houses. So definitely do check out the app and then find out more of what you can invest in. Within the fund tab itself, you get to see a lot of different funds, bond funds, equity funds, alternative investment. All of these are in the app itself.
And if you want to find out the details of that, remember earlier I said you can go into our playlist on YouTube and even in the app community because we've crafted and curated these playlists just for you. So there's the Investing Explained series that we do together. And there's also another one, which is our demo series. So definitely check it out. Now, we have time for some questions, Juncheong. Keep those questions coming, everyone. I love questions. Now, the first question we've got, any suggestions for new investors? I'm a new investor and I don't know how to invest smarter. So how can we continue to invest smarter within this space?
So, how you can invest smarter? First, I would say you have to know uh, which market you like to invest in. So, of course, if you're living and based in Singapore and you have I guess, a home bias, we tend to call it home bias, then you might want to look at the Singapore market itself.
Perhaps you could expand a little bit on that.
So, let's say, just an example, you are looking at a real estate investment trust. So let's say you're
Also known as
particularly-
REITs.
also known as REITs, and then you're looking at, let's say, the Suntec REIT. So one of these biasness that you can have, home biases, is I can physically go down to Suntec and see, oh, is it bringing with people? Are the stores all open?
You can physically
You can
monitor
see
the
it.
characteristics. Yeah.
Compared to, let's say, if you were to invest in a US-based REIT, unless you fly over and then you look at how it's doing, it's of course I'm not saying it's not possible, but there are people who can do that. Else, you can actually look into the Singapore market itself, invest into things that you can actually physically see, and then you can actually gauge it yourself. That's one way, of course. Then the next way, it's within the Mumu app itself, you can actually look at all of these details of the company itself. So, for instance, you can look for those who are looking into REITs and then all the different Singapore REITs. Click on any that you are really interested in. Look at the dividend that they have been paying out. Look at the fundamentals, the financials, the income
Very,
statement.
very important.
Yeah, you can look
Super
at all
important.
of this on our app, and
Yes.
they're all visualized in all these different charts and all.
And charting tools.
Yeah, and we
We
also
covered
have
an
charting
episode on
tools.
that.
Yes, we also have charting tools for those who are more technical
Yes.
and you want to use all the different charting tools. And then on the fundamental side, you can use all of these statements, visualized nicely for them. And then this is where you can actually start to invest smarter. And then, of course, the last part is you can use all this information within the app itself. Maybe you want to see what this company does. Maybe there's a company called ABC, and then you have no idea what is it. And then you can click on the profile to see,
Yeah.
okay, this is what the company is about. You can find out more what they do. So
Or
this
the
is
past CEOs
the
who
past
is leading,
CEOs,
who's currently
who's
leading.
currently leading. If they pay dividends, then you can see the dividend list, and then maybe you want to see if the stock has actually split. Oh, okay, this stock has split before. All of this data are actually you can see it all in the Moomoo app itself.
Definitely check it out. Next question. What do you believe are the most important traits for a successful investor?
Most important traits.
Yeah. Let's pick out three.
Most important traits. Okay. I think the most important traits
For success.
For success is first you must plan. You must have a plan of what you want to do, and that's the starting part. So you need to know, okay, I am in this trade itself for a specific financial goal. There's a specific target I want to hit. And then next is the after you do the planning, you need to know your risk tolerance. There are investors out there who will hold a certain stock even when fundamentals have changed, when the company has moved down, etc. But you're still holding on to it. So this is where you need to know your risk tolerance. If the fundamentals of the company has started to turn from what you believe in, maybe it's time to let go when this kind of thing happens. So that's risk tolerance. And then lastly, it's execution. Because when you start planning at the start, you have a certain, I would say, like goal in mind. Okay, let's say 10% up or 10% down, I will get rid of it. I take the profit or I take the loss. And when it does happen, there are users who will think, oh, I hit 10%. What if it goes up to 12? So that is the last part, which is execution. So once it does hit the goal that you hit, it becomes tricky because emotions comes in and I'm not sure, okay, what if tomorrow it's 20%? What if tomorrow it's 30%? So this is where
Right, they're trying to time it.
they try to time it
For themselves, and I think we all do it. Right?
I think
We're
we all
all
do it.
susceptible to it,
Correct.
but it's a matter of your experience as well.
Right.
You know, when you've been burned
Okay,
with
when
fire,
yes.
you be more cautious, but also at the same time, sometimes you might take more risk. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Of course,
either
really
way.
up to a person's risk tolerance. So
Yeah.
plan and then execute.
Yeah.
Once it hits your target. So let's say it really does drop to 10%. Drop 10%, that's your risk tolerance. And then you might want to get out.
Exit plan.
You must have an exit plan.
You must have an exit
You must have
plan.
a good, that's a good one. You must have an exit plan. Because you can hold a stock for
Yeah.
forever, and if you don't have an exit plan, it will be there, just be there.
Yeah.
So.
I remember with one of the shows, one of our guest speakers, he actually said you must know when to say, okay, I was wrong.
Yes, correct.
To be able to admit that and then act
And then
fast.
And even for those who are like on the right trade itself, so
Yes.
you're making money, you also need to know your exit plan. I've already made what I plan on making, then maybe it's time you can take out the profits, etc. and do your next trade, etc. if you are trading.
Yes, good points there. Next question, what separates a good opportunity from a great one? Great question here. And how do you identify these opportunities? And I'm just going to add on, how do you identify the differences?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough question, but
A
maybe
good opportunity?
personally, to you, like
To me?
when you're in your own investment journey, how do you separate a good opportunity from a great one, a fantastic one?
Of course.
And you'll never know, right?
Yeah, you never know. Of course, from good to great, the great will definitely be, you make a bigger profit from the good. So that's the best case scenario for everyone.
So would you say that's an indicator for yourself, to be able to calculate that potential?
That is for most people.
Okay.
And then I guess it really depends on each investor. Different investors have different risk tolerance. So I guess for myself, the one that is great, because I'm more of an income investor. So the ones that pays me consistent dividends, pay me consistent
Long-term.
income, and it's stable, and the underlying doesn't go down. This is what it's great for me. But it may not be great for someone, another investor
With
who
a
is
different
looking
personality
only
type.
for growth stocks.
Right.
And then there's also the third type of investor, the value investor. So it really depends on whether you're a value or growth or even an income investor. So what's great for me might really be different for what's great for a growth investor. Because for a growth investor, he or she might be thinking, I want 100% up in X amount of years. Yeah, but for those who are looking at income, you're not looking at 100% in years. You're looking at stable, growing dividends, consistent yearly. And then for those who are value investors, they really just want the value to hold there, stay there, pays lower dividends, but better value, and the value stays there, stable. So it really
Long
depends.
term.
Yeah, long term. There are those who does it like really long term.
Yeah.
Like Warren Buffett
What's
himself.
that time horizon to you?
That time horizon, I think Warren Buffett said something like his time horizon is like forever. He doesn't sell it. So it really depends on which of the three type of investor you are. So for my case, I guess
What's your time horizon?
my time horizon should be the same for many Singaporeans out there. It should be 55 years old when you retire. So that should be the cut-off time, at least for me. Yeah, 55 years old will be the great time.
But especially the generations that they are looking at retiring ASAP.
Oh yes, of
as
course.
soon as possible. And
Of course.
That's why also we have this, huge support for the FIRE movement, because they do not want to be on that daily grind, and they do want to at least make as much, create as many streams of passive income and investments
So
as
that they
soon
can-
as possible.
Yes. So
What
that's
do you
how
think about that? Yeah.
I think the whole movement is really great, because I kind of am in that community itself.
Yeah.
Because once your passive income can actually be more than your current job income, you can really start to think of you can do anything that you want. You are not you don't have to be tied down by expenses, or even for some, I think there are people who have this passive income that can just cover all of their expenses.
Right. Fixed costs and
Yeah,
all
all
the
of your
other
fixed costs. And
additional
then
costs that
you can
come
start
with
to think of, okay, I can do other things that I want to do. I can travel the world. I can spend more time with my kids. So I guess this whole fire movement, it's also the good thing. It's a lot of young people these days. They do actually pick up more financial literacy. They are starting to invest to actually gain this financial freedom for themselves as early as possible. Or of course, while you're young, definitely do live life. Don't have your pay 100% and then go into the to save all 100%. So while you're young, definitely I would say still spend a little bit to
Or
live.
spend on education.
Yeah, spend on education,
yourself
spend on yourself.
Grow yourself as
Yeah,
well.
invest in yourself
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I guess one way. Of course, there are many different types of people that are doing FIRE, so it really
Yeah.
depends on each different investor, each different user,
Absolutely.
and how they view life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to sum up this question, separating a good from a great opportunity, it's definitely subjective, as you
Very
mentioned.
subjective.
But of course, it's not that straightforward to answer. It's really dependent on what type of investor you are, what is your objective, and also your time horizon, and what you're trying to achieve within that investing space.
Yes.
But we went out on the street interview recently. I think some of you actually caught that video. I interviewed two young men who have started investing at like 18 years old, and I think that was great to have that energy on camera. But for those who are tuning in right now who are young and maybe 18, 19 years old, early 20s, what is that flip side of this? I know it's great to start, but what are some of the components that they have to also be careful of when they start?
I guess when you're young and then you start investing, because I was young once, so I would know.
You're still young. Oh goodness. I was young once.
There will be ideas in your head that you're like, I need to make it fast. I want it to go really quick.
Right.
I want my
like before you start having a full-time job, right?
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
So of course, starting young is really good because the power of compounding really kicks in, and you're starting so young, so that's really good. Of course, you need to have a good plan on what you're going to do, and invest constantly, even when you're young.
Even if it's really small, right?
Even if it's really small.
Just start doing something.
The good thing of even starting small is not maybe the amount you see that the gains that you get may not be huge because of the small amount. However, what you actually get from it is the habit. Since you started.
And the discipline.
So let's say the very young investor, 18 years old, 19 years old, started to do dollar cost averaging every month. Let's say from the income that he or she has from.
And you can do that on the app as well.
For your part-time job.
Yes.
Invest small, and then you pick up this habit of investing constantly, having the discipline to do your dollar cost averaging, and then by the time, let's say, you continue to do it, and then you finish your university, and you start your full-time job, this is where, of course, your income will go up a lot, and then maybe you can start to think, okay, how much more do I want to put in for my investment portfolio?
Right.
This is where you can really see the exponential gains of your own portfolio because you're putting in more money. And the best part is the discipline part. Because you did it since you're 18, it builds out a habit.
Right, it becomes part of your DNA.
Yeah, parts of your DNA, which is really amazing these days for 18 and 19 years old to actually start on their journey.
Yeah, I love that. And you really outline a good pathway for the younger ones tuning in, and we really appreciate that. Now we've got more questions, so just to wrap up, I'm just going to pick just a few more for you, Juncheong. Now the next question is about dealing. So how do I invest as smart as a dealer like yourself?
Good question.
Thanks for the question.
So it's really dependent on each individual. I'm kind of repeating myself again. First, you need to know what kind of investor you are. So are you a value investor, a growth investor, or income investor? And then from there, really pick good companies and preferably companies that you like. And then,
or at least are aligned with
your values, correct? So from there, pick companies that aligns with your value, and then fundamentally they are good. And from there, see if these companies, of course, things change. The companies
all the time.
Yeah, things change
next
all the
week
time.
It could be a different story, or tomorrow.
So even though you are consistently investing into it, also do check out what is going on for the company itself. Of course, the next way that a lot of people look at is to just invest into an index fund. So, and then of course you can invest into an ETF that tracks an index fund. So for the Singapore will be the STI, and then for those who are looking to Hong Kong will be the Hang Seng Index, and then the US would either be the S&P 500, which is more popular, or the Nasdaq 100, or even the Dow Jones. So it really depends on what kind of investor you are. You want to do the more passive investing to indexes, or you're a growth investor, look into the companies that you're investing, and then from there, always be, I wouldn't say cautious, but do keep up with what the company is doing.
And also what's happening around the world.
Yeah, of course, and different macroeconomics factors that can affect the company itself. Because the company can be fundamentally very good, but the whole macro...
The landscape, the macro landscape of which
can
it's participating in.
Yes, can dampen down the whole company's earnings as well. So understand all of this from a bigger perspective. It's not just the company itself. So things like the higher for longer interest rate can also impact all of this different companies itself. So find out why it may affect, and then from there pick the good companies and then invest smarter.
Woohoo! Now I think the background of this question, I think because you know the background of like this industry as well, and how the product is being updated and everything, and so I think it's a compliment that I've asked this question.
Thank you.
Now, next question: what are the top charting tools that traders normally refer to, based on your experience?
I guess the most common one, which is also in our app itself, I think the top few that you can click on will actually be moving average. I think that's the most used one.
Yes,
of course,
MA.
Yeah, MA. And then for those who are drawing, using the drawing one, of course you can use all the different like head and shoulders or trend line itself. So it really depends on the user, what you're looking at, because each different charting tools can show different outcomes. And of course, all of these charting tools are kind of like a probability of what may or may not happen. So really, I guess there are a lot of different investors out there. They specialize themselves into one, and then they really have the conviction to follow it. So it really depends on the investor's him or herself. So which one you're looking at. Of course, there are also investors who look at all of them. They click on all of them and then see it. And really depends on each individual to see what your conviction is and how you want to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and of course, some patterns comes again. History has shown that some patterns comes again. And of course, historical returns does not equate to future returns as well. So always take this with a pinch of salt. So look at it. Things that happen before may not also happen in the future.
Yeah, I think these are all also like logical fallacies.
Correct.
Within economics, right?
Correct.
And also narrative economics. Yeah, I read a lot of Ray Dalio, for example.
Oh, yes,
like other books. Yeah.
If you lose 50% of your money, you need 100% to make it back.
No, that could have been a final tagline, but we're gonna go for one more question. And the question, I think, is also important in the context of what just happened in the last week. Now we're talking about this moment as of, this month, right? We didn't expect the war to happen and, possibly just even higher inflation. What do you think is a better way? And I'm going to just put a caveat here that we do not offer any recommendations or advice, but this is just a way for you to explore for yourselves what you can look at. Yeah. So would you say what are the strategies to keep the money safe? Should I put it in the bank, or should I just try to invest in stock, whether it's slowly, or what are some possible ways I can look at to deal with the uncertainty? I know we've covered a little bit about that, but maybe you can expand a bit more.
So of course, it's uncertain times, especially since last Saturday. So of course things changes a lot, and for those who have been following the news as well as the market itself, you have seen that the market actually started to come up since the news, especially for the US market itself. So of course, for those who are more have lower risk tolerance, you would have also seen that the gold prices have started to come up. So in times of uncertainty, gold prices will start to come up. And of course, going to next year itself, there's a lot of talks about, because of the high interest rates, high debt, there may be things like recession may or may not come. So of course, when things like this come, investors out in the world, they actually will look into defensive stocks. So defensive stocks and defensive sectors, for instance, like telecommunication, your staples, your supermarkets, etc. So people will still have to use their phones, and people still have to buy water, your toothbrush, toothpaste. So this is where defensive sectors actually may thrive actually. So these are one avenue people can look at. Of course, the next one is people look into gold during times of uncertainty.
And is that available on the app?
So of course, for those who are looking to trade gold in Moomoo app itself, you can look into gold ETF that trades that tracks gold, as well as you can look into future contracts that tracks gold. So these two are available for our users. And then, of course, lastly, you can look into relatively safe products, which I've mentioned earlier, which it's relatively safe, which is the Singapore Savings Bond or even the Singapore T-bills. So these are ways you can actually park your money during this kind of high interest rate environment and then times of uncertainty. So these are avenues that I guess investors can look at.
Great stuff, Jun Chong, and thank you for the questions, everyone. Now, to wrap up, playing with fire today, final words.
Final words? Wow. I guess I use it.
I think you already used it.
I'm going to use it again. So if you lose 50% of your money, you get 100% to make it back.
Perfect. Now that was Jun Chong, everyone. If you want to see him again, you'll see him in the next Investing Explained episodes and also the live webinars that we have for all of you, always crafting and creating just for you. So definitely check it out if you're tuning in app or on YouTube. Now to the audience, if you have more questions, just keep them coming and we'll still monitor them so that, if you want to see a particular topic for the next episode, definitely leave something down below. Now, always remember to like and subscribe, okay? If you want to keep on top of all the information and all the shows that we have for you so that in your personal investment journey, you can not only invest smarter, but you can achieve fire in the process. Now, once again, I'm Olivia Higgins, and thank you for coming on to Playing with Fire. See you next time. Cheers, Juncheong.
Cheers.